Hi everyone, this is Dr. Shanmugapriya, your PrepLadder faculty for biochemistry. And I am extremely delighted to introduce to you Dr. Anshul Gupta here, who I would say is a consistent achiever because now he has scored rank number 7 in the latest INI CET May 2023 exam. And the reason behind why I said he's a consistent achiever is he's already an AIMS Delhi student. That by itself speaks high of his interest in academics. And apart from that, this is the second attempt of him in INI CET. Even the last time he has scored a decent rank, but he took it as a challenge and now he has reached rank 7. And as far as NEET PG rank is concerned, again, I was really thrilled to hear from him that he had already scored rank number 48 in the first attempt in NEET PG, All India rank. So I'm very sure that all of you are thrilled to hear from him the strategies and the, I won't call it a shortcuts, the smart tips and strategies that Anshul had always been following to reach this stage, right? So I would like to begin the session by congratulating Dr. Anshul Gupta. My hearty congratulations on behalf of everybody here, Anshul.
Thank you so much.
And I would like to hear from you. How do you feel right now?
I feel absolutely amazing, and I shouldn't say this, but I was kind of expecting to have a good result in this INI CET, so I couldn't be happier. I have a single-digit rank, and since this was my second attempt, I was very apprehensive because this would be the last and final attempt for me in INI CET. So I was very, very happy when the result came. So yes.
Good. And he recently finished his internship. So I'm very sure you're all awaiting to hear from him when he started preparing for his INI CET or for All India, entirely for entrance exam. So since when have you been preparing for this, Anshul?
So ma'am, I first started making my notes for the PG preparation in my third year. And I used to make sure that I spent at least 2 hours a day in watching videos and annotating my notes. Because I think that can be done. That is the best thing to do when you are going through your MBBS. You should read your curriculum and also alongside make notes. It's not necessary to memorize everything at that point, but one must always have a good ready set of notes at the end of their MBBS, so that in internship, all you need to do is revise. So that was my strategy too. And I made sure all my notes were done by the end of my final year, and I revised in my internship.
That's nice. So my understanding from what you said is you started from the third year, and in the third year, you started watching all videos pertaining to third year subjects and final year subjects. Am I right?
Yes.
So when did you take time to revise first and second year subjects, Anshul?
So ma'am, when I began my internship, I started with first year subjects, and I started with a lot of things. But I'll be honest, I got caught up, and that is why towards the end, I was not able to continue with the revision. But I decided to appear for the May INI CET for this evening, and the second attempt, I was able to revise all the subjects.
Okay. So can I know from you what is the difference that you have always observed between NEET PG exam and INI CET exam? Anshul, is there any difference?
One stark difference is that NEET PG gives you the same number of questions for a longer time. There is less of a time crunch. But in INI CET, since the options are also very complicated and close, and the questions need to be done in a shorter time, it's definitely more of a time crunch. And I think one should be aware of that. The second thing is that the negative marking in INI CET is also greater. It's 1/3 instead of 1/4, and therefore you have to see the trade-off between going aggressive and going safe. So that is another thing. And lastly, I think INI CET is a little more focused on the first and second year subjects rather than the clinical subjects, while NEET focuses more on the clinical subjects. So I think you should streamline your strategy accordingly to which exam.
Got it. So what I hear from you is number one is time management, and number two is to concentrate on year 1 and year 2 subjects of MBBS.
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's nice. So you were saying that when you started in third year and final year, you were concentrating more on taking notes, right? So
yes.
How many do you have a separate notebook for every subject, or how do you manage taking notes? Because that by itself, I would say, is a skill, right? It's a skill, or that should be a smart tip that you had followed for you to be able to use those notes for revising. So is there anything that you can talk about that?
Yes, ma'am. So first thing is that when you're making your notes as for the first time, what you need to do is look at the video first, try to understand the concept in maybe chunks of 5-10 minutes, and then just jot down whatever important points you felt were not, there in your notes. And that is how you need to annotate your notes so that by the end, at the end of the lecture, you are able to just go through those extra points which you felt were, forgettable or very, very important. And in subsequent revisions, what you need to do is mark out or highlight or take pictures or use any other method of basically segregating the forgettable stuff from the non-forgettable stuff. So what I mean by that is like if I once know the concept of PBG, I don't need to go back to the entire theory again and again. All I need to go back to is the specific formula which will be required to solve an EBG question. So that is how you streamline and you only look at the formulas at the end when it comes to EBG. Similarly, when you go to ECGs, you sort of get the idea of what it looks like, but what you might want to remember is which drugs are used to treat which kind of in drive. So this is the kind of thing that you want to note down in your final revision notes. And this would count as sort of your penultimate revision. The last and final revision actually would be the 20th notebook, which I suggest everyone to make. Because when you're, in your penultimate revision, that is when you need to actually find out the good cheeses have which I will forget even if I study 1 hour before. So those are the things that you need to put in your 20th notebook. And that's what I did too. I actually had a Telegram group also for the same purpose. So sometimes I used to send screenshots of my notes to the Telegram group, or sometimes I used to make my own choti copies of the 20th notebook notes. So I combined both of them to read on my last day before the exam. And it instills a great sense of confidence in the entire syllabus when you are able to go through all 19 subject volatile points in a short period of time. So that is also very, very useful. And I recommend everyone to make a 20th.
That's nice. That's nice. So let me help students who are watching here by summarizing what I heard from you. So what he says is you have to write a summary note. It's not a running notes that he is talking about. He says watch the video, understand facts and concepts, summarize it and write it down as notes. And the best part which I liked about is he was talking about a 20th notebook for which he used Telegram group. So that's an innovative way of using Telegram and apps these days. Yeah. So so in that group, it's just you, is it? It's just you who exists in that
group? Yes, it's just me in this group because yeah. Okay. It's all the kind of things
for your own use. That's nice. That's nice. So screenshots, I know. My phone, my gallery is filled of screenshots, but I never use it. Probably I will use this tip soon, Anshul. So thank you for
that. As a matter of fact, when I was doing my preparation, I realized that I had also saved a lot of screenshots from here and there. When you're just reading something, you feel important and you take a screenshot, sometimes even from Google, but you don't look at them again and then it becomes useless. So that is why in my final revision days, I had set out around 6 hours, 7 hours for just looking at those screenshots which I had saved. Because, one of my friends jokingly said, कि अगर मैं अपने screenshots की पढ़ लूँ तो मेरा selection हो जाए. So actually, I just took that to heart and I was like, I'm going to look at these as well. अगर कभी कुछ पढ़ा है, it shouldn't go to waste basically. So yeah.
That's nice. I would also like to hear from you. How do you approach those MCQs for which there are multiple right answers, Anshul? Is there any secret for that?
Yes. So now I think that this is a very common strategy that many people employ and it's very useful is elimination. So when we have multiple correct options, it usually comes as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. So if you know that statement 1 is wrong, you can rule out all 3 of these, right? So that is how it works. You just have to look at how many statements you know for sure are wrong or know for sure are right. And then you need to rule out the options based on that. I think usually it will whittle you down to 2 options at the end, and then it's anybody's game. So what it can help you in doing is eliminating and narrowing down. The second thing is that whenever there are multiple correct or true false type questions, you should read the options very, very carefully. Even if you think it's an alien concept which you've never heard, you should always read it and apply some common man logic or medical logic. Some things just can't be true, and some things have a tendency of being wrong. So, you get that idea and you can sort of say, yeah, ye wala statement sahi hoga, ye galat hoga. You can sort of make educated guesses. Because in the end, when there are new questions which nobody has read, the difference will come in who is able to make a better educated guess. So that trick will come only by practicing more.
Yeah, nice. So informed guesses and educated guesses will always help you eliminate many a times the wrong choices. I agree with you. That's nice. And so what is your take on writing grant tests? How many grant tests did you attempt? Since when did you start writing grant tests? How was your performance? Was there a consistent improvement in your performance in grant test? Or have you ever faced any obstacle in writing grant tests?
Yes. So now I started giving my GPs once I was halfway through my syllabus. So I had a simple rule. I had 3 cycles of revision, and at the middle of the revision, I used to give one GT, and at the end of the revision, I used to give one GT. So the purpose of both was very simple. I just wanted to track my progress of the subjects that I had completed. Say, for example, if I've done 10 subjects in half of my revision, then I would give the GT and look at only those 10 subjects and make sure that उसमें कोई गलती नहीं हो रही है. And after that, the other subjects, sometimes you get them right, sometimes you don't. But what you can tell yourself is कि तुमने अभी नहीं करे हैं ना, and if you do them, you'll do well. So that's how you need to analyze the GT. It's not about getting more GTs. It's about using the GT as a tool to know exactly where you're standing. And not only in terms of your entire score or entire rank, but also in terms of your subject-wise performance. What are your weak areas? What are your strong areas? Because sometimes it might be that you've read an RT yesterday, but you still do very badly in the GT. So that is where you need to look into the paper and see where I've made a mistake. So I think when it comes to GTs, there are only 2 rules that followed. That don't give too many, but whenever you give them, analyze them very well.
Okay, great. So analyzing GT is the key, right? To use GT as a tool. And how do you exactly analyze the GT? Do you work out every MCQ again? Do you read relevant facts and concepts, or is it just you look at the right answer and then you keep moving ahead? What kind of analysis did you do for GT?
Yes. So, ma'am, in the GTs, one should be aware that when you're giving a GT, it's not the real exam ultimately, right? So, what you can do is when you're doing the questions, instead of using the mark for guess or not option, just write on a piece of paper, these are the questions which I probably guessed, probably would have gotten wrong or didn't know, and just review those question numbers instead of going to every question. Because at the end of maybe one revision, there are gonna be some things which you are sure you know. So you don't need to go back to them and waste your time, because time is of essence. So what you can do is, the first thing is note down the question numbers. The second thing you can do is, if you're short on time, you can just go to the questions that you marked wrong or the ones that you guessed, and you can just analyze them. That is when you have a time crunch, which I sometimes do. So those are the 2 ways. And lastly, analyzing each question shouldn't be about the options and the question itself, but about the overall concept that it's trying to convey. Like if you know that you are lacking somewhere in maybe antiretroviral treatment for single dose nevirapine prophylaxis, then you can just look it up the entire concept in one go and make sure you get every question on that right. So that's how GTs should be.
Okay. And how did PrepLadder rapid revision videos help you, Anshul?
So, ma'am, I think I've said that in my NEET interview as well, that the title's rapid revision is really good. And I mean, I sometimes find it unbelievable how they compress such a large amount of precise information into a matter of maybe 50, 60 pages, and at max 100 pages for the long subjects. So I think, and that is very important in the end, because in the end, number of pages becomes a big factor, to demoralize people. If you look at 200 pages of notes to do in maybe 2 hours, it's not possible. What you need is a concise source with fewer pages. It automatically gives you a boost in a sector. So that is where the PrepLadder's RR comes in and does a great job. So I think I definitely love it. There were certain subjects that I particularly liked. There was anesthesia and radiology.
Nice to hear it from you, Anshul. So is there anything specifically that you would like to give as a suggestion to those who are about to appear for the next NEET PG or INI CET exam?
So, ma'am, there's one thing that I would like to tell, because I think this is something that is often missed. It's that whenever you revise, it should be an active recall. It shouldn't be a passive reading of the notes, because only when you actively recall, you will make active mistakes and you will not repeat them in the paper. If you already made a mistake while reading the notes, just imagine how awesome it would be, because you won't be doing it again. You don't need to solve questions to not make mistakes or to come to know your mistakes. You can do it while reading the notes. And I think that is a very powerful tool that you must employ, which is often not used by people.
Okay. And one more question, Anshul, before we end the conversation. So how did you manage internship? Because I see that you finished your internship and soon after that you have written all these exams and you have excelled in almost all the exams. So how did you manage internship and at the same time this preparation also?
Ma'am, so I think it's very, very difficult to begin with, because any intern who's preparing, hats off to you, because even I wasn't able to do it perfectly at first. I got a rank of 715 in my first November INI CET attempt, because it was during my internship. And I found it slightly difficult to maintain my rigor along with the internship. So that is why I think I'm probably not the best person to ask how I managed, because I think I didn't manage that well. But a lot of my friends actually did really well, managing internship and all the studies. And what comes in here is discipline. That's it. So, you need to have the burning desire and the discipline to do it.
Great, great. So I know that smart people are always harsh on themselves. You definitely are a great achiever. Getting a 700 plus rank in the first INI CET is not a simple task. Yeah, I would want you to pat yourself for what you have achieved so far. And yes, so to summarize all that you have told me so far, it's point number one is time management. You will have to manage time as far as INI CET is concerned. And point number two is to concentrate on all subjects conceptually. It is not just about the clinical subjects, clinical and non-clinical subjects should be approached in a conceptual manner. And what I liked about the entire conversation is you kept repeatedly telling about consistency and about discipline, right? So all achievers may not be smarter than all of us. Achievers are definitely consistent and intrinsically disciplined, right? So I would want every student who is watching this session to inculcate all these habits as skills. These are all not arts with which a person is supposed to be born with. These are all skills which you can develop as a discipline, as a habit that can be done, that can be inculcated at any point in our life. Yeah. So thanks for this motivational and inspirational conversation, Anshul. My best wishes for all your future endeavors. And what do you plan on taking up?
Ma'am, I'm a little confused, but I think I will go with internal medicine.
Good. Yeah. My best wishes. All the best. Thank you.